Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan.
It's great to be here with you today, Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. We get some really fascinating stories lined up from the tech world.
Absolutely. Stories that, well, they really show how fast things are changing. But before we jump into this, let's quickly get you set up with what's happening outside and in the markets.
Sounds good. So national weather first. Keep an eye out for severe thunderstorms across the central and southern plains today.
Yeah, potential for some serious flooding there, especially Kansas.
And out west, Pacific Northwest, Northern California, could see some isolated flash flooding near those burn scars.
Right, always a risk after fires. And Florida's still getting soaked, persistent showers, heavy rain down there.
But here at home in Sacramento, much nicer picture.
Oh yeah, much calmer. Mostly sunny, maybe a slight chance of showers later, but a really pleasant high of 78 degrees Fahrenheit.
Perfect day for untangling some tech news.
Indeed. Now, the markets. Yesterday I saw some, pretty modest moves. The Dow Jones closed at 45,531.13.
Just a tiny dip,
Yeah.
right? Like 0.04% down for the day.
Exactly. But still up a bit for the week, about 0.22%.
And the S&P 500, pretty similar story.
Very similar, almost flat on the day, closed at 6,503.72. That's up just 0.01%, but also holding a small gain for the week. So, steady.
Okay, but Bitcoin, that's where the action seems to be.
Yeah, our digital darling, as you say. Yeah, still making waves. Closed strong at 112,750.32.
That's up over 0.5% just yesterday.
And get this, up 1.40% over the past week.
Wow. That kind of sustained growth is, it's hard to ignore.
It really is. It says something about the maybe maturing confidence in digital assets.
I think so. And speaking of good news, especially for our Bay Area listeners, the Giants.
Yes. Tell us.
They absolutely crushed the Diamondbacks yesterday, 11-5.
Fantastic. Always good to beat Arizona.
Logan Webb got the win. And Jung-Hoo Lee, what a night. 3 for 4 with a homer. Just great to see them get that W.
Love to hear it. All right, so let's shift focus now. Time for our Morning Star Report.
Let's do it. We've got 3 really pivotal stories today.
Yeah, connecting the dots between, global innovation, market shifts, and some pretty high-stakes geopolitics.
Okay, first up, we're heading to the United Arab Emirates. They are making some serious moves in the AI race.
That's right. Their new research lab, the Institute of Foundation Models, IFM for short, they've just open sourced their first AI model. It's called K2 Think.
K2 Think. Okay, and what's the hook here?
Well, what's really catching eyes is that it was trained on a relatively small number of AI chips, about 2,000.
Only 2,000. That seems low compared to, the massive clusters we usually hear about.
Exactly. But the early benchmarks, they show it performing right up there with top open source models from OpenAI and China's DeepSeek.
That is interesting. So it kind of challenges that more chips equals better AI idea a little bit.
It does suggest that perhaps training methods and data quality are just as crucial, maybe more so in some cases.
So this isn't just the UAE throwing their hat in the ring. This open sourcing approach, it feels strategic. How does it change things globally?
Oh, it's definitely strategic. It signals the UAE wants to be a major player alongside the US and China in, openly sharing AI tech. They're not just consumers, they're becoming contributors.
Like building influence beyond just oil money.
Precisely. And it's a trend we're seeing elsewhere too, like Saudi Arabia, Singapore. This idea that nations need their own AI capabilities, almost like national AI sovereignty.
Okay, so if they're aiming for sovereignty and influence, what's the IFM's actual mission? What are they trying to build?
Their goal is pretty broad. Build, understand, use, and manage the risks of these advanced AI models. They want to foster academic research, but for practical uses.
So attract top scientists, make AI more accessible, maybe cheaper.
Exactly. Large-scale, reusable, accessible, affordable AI. That's the mantra. It's about building a knowledge economy, really. Less dependence on outside vendors, more transparency. It's a long game.
And the focus is on multimodal models. Can you break that down for us? What does that mean in practice?
Sure. Multimodal means the AI can understand and process different types of data together. Think language, audio, vision, all at once.
So it could analyze a video call, understanding what's said, the tone of voice, and maybe even facial expressions.
That's the idea. It opens up loads of applications. Better social media analysis, content moderation, reading text and images, that's OCR, product analysis.
And also pushing things like chatbots, the large language models, forward.
Yep, and even into complex scientific areas, like models for biological data. Think AlphaFold 2, but maybe applied differently.
It's clear they're serious.
Right.
You mentioned the university behind IFM, MBZ UAI. They already have a track record, right?
They do. They developed Jays, which is the best open source Arabic language model out there. They worked with Meta on Llama 2, and their Vicuna chatbot, hugely popular, over 3 million downloads.
And there's even more investment. Falcon Foundation.
Right. Another arm, the Technology Innovation Institute, or TII, they launched the Falcon Foundation with a $300 million commitment, all focused on open source generative AI, starting with their own Falcon models. It's all about building that independent ecosystem.
Wow. Okay, quite a statement. Now let's shift gears from AI development to the crypto world, another familiar name making headlines.
Indeed. Gemini, the crypto exchange founded by the Winklevoss twins, Cameron and Tyler.
The Winklevoss twins,
Yeah.
still at it. What's the news?
They filed for an IPO, an initial public offering. They're aiming to list on the NASDAQ Global Select Market, ticker symbol GEMI.
An IPO for Gemini. Okay, that's a big deal. They'd be the third big crypto exchange to go public after Coinbase and Bullish.
That's right, and maybe a sign of confidence. NASDAQ itself is apparently planning to buy $50 million worth of Gemini shares during the IPO in a private placement.
NASDAQ investing directly. Okay, that does lend some credibility.
Yeah.
Does this feel like crypto is, I don't know, finally growing up a bit, shaking off that Wild West image?
It certainly points that way. We're seeing a bit of a rebound in IPOs for digital asset companies in the U.S. Part of that is likely an easing regulatory environment, maybe more institutional adoption, picking up steam.
And the Trump administration's sort of embrace of digital currencies probably doesn't hurt either.
Likely playing a role, yes. It signals a move towards seeking legitimacy, broader investment, becoming more mainstream.
And Gemini's not just an exchange, Ray. They've been around since 2014. They have other products.
They do. They have their own U.S. dollar-backed stablecoin, the Gemini dollar, or GUSD, and that crypto rewards credit card.
Stablecoins seem increasingly important. We even have new laws like the Genius Act, setting up rules for them. What does that mean for, say, the average professional?
It means stablecoins are becoming a more, understood and regulated part of finance. The Genius Act shows lawmakers see their potential and want to integrate them responsibly.
So less risky ways to use digital assets, maybe for payments or hedging.
Potentially, yes. More stable ways to interact with the crypto space for things like cross-border payments, maybe holding value without the wild swings of Bitcoin, for example. It's about financial utility, moving beyond just pure speculation.
It really is quite the journey for the Winklevoss twins.
Yeah.
From the Facebook battle to crypto pioneers, now an IPO.
A full circle moment in some ways. Makes you wonder.
What Zuckerberg thinks now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, from an investment angle, Gemini's financials, they reported pretty big losses, right? Like $282 million loss in the first half of this year.
That's right, on about $68 million in revenue, compared to a $158 million loss on $142 million revenue in all of 2024. So yeah, widening losses.
So is this IPO really about maturity, or is it more about raising cash to cover losses and debt? How do they compete with, say, Coinbase, which is much bigger?
That's the critical question for investors. The IPO proceeds are earmarked for general corporate stuff and paying down debt. It's not necessarily funding some massive new growth spurt right away.
So differentiation is key.
Absolutely. How will they stand out? How will they get to profitability? As one expert noted, the shift in crypto investing is moving from speculation to sustainability.
Meaning investors want real clients, regulated products.
Exactly. Long-term market alignment. It's a big test for Gemini post-IPO.
Okay, from digital finance to the hardware that powers so much of the modern tech world. Our third story, Nvidia and its chip sales to China.
Yes, a really complex situation here with huge implications. The bottom line is Nvidia is set to resume selling its H20 AI chips to China.
H20. Those were the ones designed to kind of get around earlier U.S. export controls, weren't they?
They were. And now it seems the U.S. government has given assurances that the licenses needed to sell them will be granted.
And this comes after some high-level maneuvering.
Seems so. There was a meeting reported between Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang and President Trump just last week. And Nvidia ran a pretty aggressive lobbying campaign against proposals to limit AI chip sales to China further.
Aggressive is one word for it. Didn't they label supporters of the restrictions AI doomers? That's pretty punchy language to use with lawmakers.
It is. It really highlights the intense pressure and high stakes involved. And you can see why Nvidia fought so hard when you look at the economics.
What was the impact of halting those H20 sales?
It was massive, an estimated $4.5 billion hit from inventory write-downs, plus another $2.5 billion in lost projected sales.
Wow. Okay, so resuming sales is absolutely vital for them.
A watershed moment, as analysts are calling it. It significantly boosts their revenue outlook. China was 13% of Nvidia's total sales last fiscal year. That's $17 billion.
$17 billion just from China. Okay, so this isn't just about one company's profits. It's this constant tension, isn't it? Economic interests versus national security concerns.
Exactly, and Congress is still wrestling with it. The Senate and House are considering new rules, trying to prioritize U.S. companies for critical AI tech before it goes to China. Some proposals are framed as America first.
But this decision to grant licenses suggests maybe a more pragmatic approach is winning out for now, balancing the economic hit against the security worries.
It seems that way. It's a constant balancing act. Where do you draw the line between fostering economic growth through tech leadership and, potential security risks down the road?
Especially when one company, Nvidia, is so dominant. What's their market share in AI chips again?
It's estimated at around 97% for the GPU accelerators. Those are the real workhorses for AI.
Like turbochargers for AI tasks.
Good analogy. They speed everything up drastically. Yeah. So letting these sales resume, at least for now, it effectively gives Chinese companies more time to develop their own chip technology.
Buys them time. And Nvidia's rivals, AMD, Intel, they're probably watching this closely, planning their own moves for the China market.
Oh, absolutely. They're expected to introduce their own AI chips designed for China, too. So the pressure on regulators, on suppliers, it's not going away. It's a really dynamic space, heavily influenced by geopolitics.
So for businesses relying on this cutting-edge AI hardware, or even just watching the global AI race, what's the takeaway?
Adaptability is key, and keeping a very close eye on policy shifts. Because the landscape is constantly changing. Today's solution could easily become tomorrow's problem or restriction.
Constant vigilance. Okay, let's quickly recap these three big stories and connect the dots one last time.
Sounds good. First, we had the UAE stepping up significantly in AI.
Right, open sourcing their K2 Think model, trained efficiently, aiming to be a global player and foster broader innovation. A strategic move.
Then we talked about Gemini's IPO. The Winklevoss exchange going public on NASDAQ.
A sign of crypto maturing, moving mainstream, navigating regulation, even with financial questions still lingering.
And finally, Nvidia getting the green light to resume selling its H20 AI chips to China.
Highlighting that intense tug of war between huge economic stakes, national security concerns, and the global AI arms race.
Yeah, taken together, these stories really paint a picture of a world where technology, business, and geopolitics are just incredibly intertwined.
And changing faster than ever. The future of AI, finance, global tech supply chains, it's all being reshaped right now.
Definitely a lot to think about how these shifts redefine not just tech, but maybe our societies, global power.
Yeah.
It's happening now.
Absolutely. Well, that's our time for today. We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.